So when we were working in like dive bars, when somebody came in and ordered an old fashioned, you just grabbed pretty much whatever you had on hand, maybe a Amarena Cherry and an orange thing, or maybe a lemon. If you had lemon and not orange, most bars, dive bars, didn't really carry oranges back then. So you had a lemon, you just mushed it up with there was like a muddler over here that was usually covered in like fruit flies and stuff because it's never been washed. You just sort of mash it up and add some liquor to it and put ice and soda. And then all of a sudden, like the cocktail thing happened, right? Like the cocktail movement? Cocktail thing. Let's call it cocktail thing. Happened, and like, you know, this guy came out and said, you know, Old Fashioned is the original cocktail by definition. You know, it's sugar, bitters, water, and liquor, and that's it. And so everybody, all of us, me especially, got like really snooty about the Old Fashioned. You know, this is how you make an Old Fashioned. You stir the thing and you pour it and you garnish with, like, it's very precious and it's very fancy. And so that's what I taught all of my bartenders at Clyde was this new Old Fashioned. We make amazing Old Fashions at Clyde, I think. And this moment happened. It was like a Friday or Saturday night. I was like really busy behind the bar. And I sort of like obliquely heard out of my one good ear this woman ask my bartender, Junior, for Brandy Old Fashioned. And it didn't really like register with me because I should know better. But he ran off and he grabbed some nice cognac and he bitters and a little bit of sugar and stirred and then served it with a little twist. And as he was like handing over the drink across the bar, it dawned on me what was going on. And I looked, and as the drink was going across the bar, I looked and her face was like, what the f*** is that? And there was this moment where he was like proud and she was like, what the f*** are you serving me? And it hit me because in college I had a huge group of friends that were all from Wisconsin, and I just ran over there and reached and I was like, stop the drink. And I was like, where in Wisconsin are you from? And she was like, Madison, why? And I was like, I got this. And I took the drink and I dumped it in the trash. And my bartender's looking at me like, what are you doing? You told me that an Old Fashioned was a teaspoon of sugar and bitters and stirred. And I was like, I'll explain it later. The sort of downside of this cocktail thing, as we're calling it, is that we've left out one very important drink. The Brandy Old Fashioned is different. And it is a Wisconsin thing, and it will never change, and it shouldn't have changed because it's actually a really delicious drink. I sort of came up with a nice methodology for sort of crossing the genre, like making this a good sort of well-made cocktail. And so we're gonna take a frozen Old Fashioned glass, and we're gonna add one Amarena Cherry from Italy, and just a little wedge of orange, and a teaspoon of 2-in-1 simple syrup and 2 dashes of bitters. That's what's gonna be sitting in the bottom of this glass. And we're gonna take a muddler and we're just gonna mash all of that stuff up until it's almost like a paste, right? It's like this cherry, orange, sugar, bitters paste. And on that, we're gonna add brandy, not cognac. We're gonna use California brandy. And when you go to Wisconsin, that's what they use. 2 ounces of that right on top. Sort of stir it in a little bit, and then I'm gonna take just a nice Lewis bag full of crushed ice and just add that on top of it and stir it around, and that's the Brandy Old Fashioned. And it is, you know what? When you taste it, it is delicious. Brandy Old Fashioned.